Okay. Hey everybody. I know this is not my usual video, but I just wanted to talk to you about a movie that I think like about almost everybody saw cuz on the night of premiere Twitter was blowing up about it. This movie is Surviving Compton, Suge Dre, Dr. Dre, Suge, and Michel'le. And I just wanted to talk about the content of this movie and let me see, just make like comparisons on maybe the credibility of the movie and its story versus real um life and the things that I have heard from other people who may be more knowledgeable on Michel'le and her life story than I am. So So I'm just going to begin like summarizing the story and the things that kind of stuck out to me. Uh well, we start off with Michel'le, a young Michel'le. She's walking with her grandmother through South Central and she spies upon her mother getting beaten by her boyfriend and mm, and she comments that when a young Michel'le comments that when she gets grown up that she would never let a man hit on her. And she had it right from the beginning until Mimi said that whether or not you're smart, you're gonna end up with a man who hits you because their hands are thinking faster than their brain. I believe that's what she said. And I was like, what? Gosh. Let me just say how I thought about the movie. It was a good movie. I feel like Lifetime did a good job on this biopic. I think they redeemed themselves somewhat from the Aaliyah movie. I mean, I watch it if I don't have anything else to watch, just to get laughs from it. But I think that they did a good job in this movie. The casting of Ryan Nicole Brown, who's Lizzie on Licking Heights, and also the Dr. Dre character, I guess is a newcomer, Curtis Hamilton. I think they did a good job. So anyway, back to what I was saying about the summary of the movie. Um, hmm. Let's just fast forward to anyway. Um, her grandmother told her grandmother and mother was like instilling that it's in a man's nature to beat on women, and that if if a man beats on you, you should change yourself to make sure that he doesn't beat on you. And I'm like, oh gosh, I'm just thankful that I was raised in the environment I was raised, because I don't think I could deal with that type of violence. Okay, so we fast forward. I think she's like about 17, 18. Alonzo Williams spies from the world class wrecking crew, kind of spies her in the department store and hears her singing, and then kind of like asks her if she could like come and sing a hook on the song because the original lead singer was not going to be able to make it. So she agrees. She agrees. Alonzo is surprised of her sweet speaking voice, but but asks but still asks upon her anyway. She comes to the studio. Everybody's disrespectful. Dre is most especially disrespectful, and just calling her squeaky, Minnie Mouse, and a B word right off the rip. Now, okay, why would why would you get with this man and he's disrespecting you upon the fourth meeting? That's a bad first impression. I would have said, no, ma'am. But I shouldn't be saying that because I don't know in that I don't know if anybody in her situation would know what to do. I mean, it was her but all we can do is watch this movie. And while watching this movie, I'm thinking of the things that I feel like I would have done in her shoes. But I don't know. I've never been in that situation. So I can't judge, honestly. So then she goes in the booth and does her hook for Before You Turn Off the Lights, where she claims that she was never paid for, and then everybody is amazed at her demanding singing voice. And so Dre is kind of apologizing for his rudeness and trying to push up on her. All the while he is also trying to push up on her as well. But I guess Dre went out because he looked more assertive than Easy was. So anyway, they go to a diner. Mich- Michel'le was Michel'le, the real Michel'le, was popping up throughout the movie, kind of like guiding us through her thoughts and her feelings about the important events that happened and how she felt about the events that were happening as they were happening. She kind of said that Dr. Dre was not her type, but at that time she didn't really know what her type was. So she just went along with him. Their relationship begins to blossom, and then all of a sudden Dre gets a call that one of his baby mothers is about to give birth. And then she finds out, and then Michel'le finds out that Dr. Dre has 5 kids. Oh gosh. Ooh, I couldn't do it. I mean, hmm. I just couldn't. That should be red flag. That should have been a red flag, man. But anyway, can't judge. Can't judge. It's her life. So anyway, moving on. Um, we get introduced to Jerry Hiller, who invests in NWA and begins to manage them. Uh, we then see the first sign of Dr. Dre's violent side. Takes Michel'le over to baby mama's house, the baby mama's house, and then beats on her boyfriend in front of her while she's in the car. And then I'm like, really, sir? Really? I mean, I mean, if he did not, if he had moved, I think this to be a sign that he was not over. over the baby mother. Because why would you go over to her if you were completely over her? Why would you go over to her house and there's a whole nother dude over there and then beat the living and then try and beat the living daylights out of him? And drunken stupor, of course. But drunk or not, sir. I just I just couldn't do it. So anyway. That happens. We see Dr. Dre uh being still being kind of just a, just honestly a douchebag. Just not nice at all. Uh and I just think that I would not have taken hmm what can how can I say it? I don't think I would have taken things the way that Michel'le taken things. I'm kind of a passive aggressive person, and to be honest, I probably like hold on to all these things and then just burst and probably leave. Because even the verbal abuse, that was too much. And on top of that, you're cheating on her. That was just be too much for me. Well, Dr. Dre and Michel'le, they're always together. Still, he goes on tour. She goes on tour with them, and then Michel'le is eventually offered by Eazy-E a chance to release her own record, which is a her self-titled debut, which sold 500,000 copies. I guess it's certified gold. Yeah, and so and the first track that we see her record is "No More Lies," which which was probably inspired by Dr. Dre and his philandering ways while um, she's trying to find inspiration. When she's trying to write the song, she finds some panties stuck in the couch, and then she cooks those panties into a casserole that Dre discovers. And while she's recording, we see that the members of NWA and Jerry Heller are all giving her praising. I think Dre's kind of mad because with this song, she's kind of putting him on blast. But what can you expect if you weren't doing what you were doing? If you did not want to be put on blast in that matter, you shouldn't have did the stuff that you did, or at least make sure the girl had her underwear. Honestly, so she wouldn't find out. But anyway, Dr. Dre, while she's recording, Dr. Dre is drinking, he's smoking. After she gets out the booth, she asks for his his commentary on how she did and responds by blowing smoke in her face and giving this disgusted look. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you was rude. You're so rude. So anyway, he storms off, asks Jerry to take her home. Jerry kind of seems concerned about her, asks if everything's okay at home. She seems to be okay that he parties, okay with the fact that Dre parties a lot and he likes to mess around. So so she decides so she feels like the sacrifice of making this record, she has to endure these things. And then we get to a scene, the first infamous beating scene. Ugh, which the first time I saw it, it gave me a headache, and I was almost tearing up because that was not right. He's in a drunken stupor, takes off his clothes, and gets on top of her. She's probably thinking they gonna get in, but no. He commences to punching her, not just once, but 4 times in the face, repeatedly. And I'm like, what did she do? What is she doing to deserve this? Oh gosh. And people,
Hello.
hi. Oh gosh.
What happened?
Nothing. I'm kind of talking about this movie on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
So I'm just talking about it.
Oh, are you filming it or are you talking to someone?
This is a live stream, so.
Oh, nice. We'll go for it. Don't mind me.
Okay. So, anyway. Um, what was I about to say? He begins punching the living daylights out of her, and then after that, he turns over and starts crying. And I'm like, sir, you just hurt this lady. And you have the nerve to cry. Oh, I just had no words for that. And the abuse doesn't stop at that. And what we see in the next scene is that she is beginning to self-medicate with prescription drugs and alcohol, so the hits won't hurt as much, which is upsetting to do. I would have just left. So then we get to the scene where she's recording something in my heart. And she's getting all these looks of everybody's probably in shock from watching this, from seeing that she's all battered and bruised, couldn't cover the bruises good enough with the makeup. And then Dre is belittling her and threatening her in front of all these people. And I'm like, could y'all please get him? Just seriously get him. Because I don't understand how all these people could sit around and let this woman be treated the way that she was treated. He was choking her out in front of all of you, and none of y'all said anything. And then we see in the next scene that she's shooting the video for nicety. She's not agreeing with Dre. Dre wants her to dress a certain way and look a certain way. And she's complaining. And then he takes her backstage and punches her. And luckily, Eazy and Jerry Heller made were commenting that this wasn't right and that she should just leave him. But she honestly, I guess, was okay with it. She was saying that you can repeatedly said she was fine, she was all right with it. I'm just, it was just depressing. So, so then we see another scene. She's in the bathtub. Wait, yeah, she's in the bathtub. Bathtub. Easy is warning her that Dre is coming, that he's sloshed, and that she should get out of there. But instead, she takes the prescription drugs and the alcohol, and Dre catches her, and obviously wails on her for probably no reason. Then, then we see a scene that she's trying to run away. I guess the car wouldn't start, so she so Dre catches her and lifts her out and takes her out of the car and carries her back to the house. That was a very interesting scene to me. I think both of them that really showed the actor's talents because I was feeling the emotion from both of them in the scene. So along the way, we get introduced to Suge Knight, and we are very, and I was very surprised at his depiction in this movie. He was nice throughout the movie until they got together. He was very kind. He did all these random acts of kindness, which was obviously a to way to slowly creep into Michel'le's heart because obviously he saw that he was not that Dre wasn't treating her right and all this stuff and he felt like she was vulnerable and that it was going to be easy for him to just try and swipe her away from Dre, to be honest. One of the scenes one of the scenes of these acts of kindness, Dre has left her for 2 weeks without paying the light bill. And she has their child in the house. They have no food. I guess no car. I don't know. He took the car or something. But just left him. But just left them. So I guess she has no choice but to call Suge to try and relay a message to Dre that that the lights are out and that they don't got no food. Suge takes it upon himself to come and give them food and stuff. And she's grateful for that. And so, anyway, anyway, in this point, she's not really seeing much of Dr. Dre. He's out doing his own thing, obviously. And then she decides to spiral out of control, is bringing her baby to parties where she's smoking and drinking and all this stuff. I think it was a blood party because everybody was wearing red except for her. But anyway, there's kind of a little shootout at the party, and this shootout kind of opens up her eyes to see that she needs to get clean. So she drops the baby off at her grandma's, and then kind of goes to Dre, begging and pleading that she needs help. And Dr. Dre is very, very dismissive with her. And I was like, are you this cold hearted? This woman is asking for your help, and you are just being so disrespectful. Basically saying, basically, basically, I think was just looked, sounded disgusted by her. Told her to get her stuff together, and that he thought that all she needed to do was take some 7 Up and some aspirin. Oh gosh. I don't know how you did it, man. I just need to take my hat off to you. I don't know how you did it. But anyway, this was another chance for Suge to sweep in as a nice guy, and and he offers to pay for her to go to rehab, which was a very nice gesture. And so, she goes to rehab. She becomes clean and sober, and then she returns. She returns to come and find out that Suge, I mean Dre, that Dre is engaged to be married to what I lo- what we all learned. What I learned was is his wife, his current wife, and like I'm thinking, is he being on her as well? Which my mom told me that somebody said that he was, and that she's just staying. Which I don't know. I'm not in their house. So anyway, the last time we see Dr. Dre comes over to, I think, the house that Suge had bought for her to live in, and kind of wants her to go to come to come oh gosh, to come and go to Aftermath with him because he decided to leave Death Row at this point. And Michel'le says no. He says he's questioning if she's sleeping with Suge Knight, doesn't answer, so he obviously takes the answer as yes. And wait, well, I'll leave the comparisons out for later. And so he decides just forget it, and then he leaves out of her life, and that's the last we've seen of Dr. Dre of this movie. Then we see her relationship with Suge, which Suge play out. He's already married, so she already had the mindset, hey, I'm gonna be this guy's mistress. But then we see that Suge Suge gets himself in a lot of trouble. And when Tupac died, I think he was with him in Las Vegas the time that he died. And so he gosh, I'm tired. Okay. And so he got into a fight and he got arrested because he violated parole, and then he was in jail for like about 5 or 6 years, I think. And so his lawyers come up to Michel'le saying that Suge wants her to handle his death row affairs and whatnot. And and she reluctantly agrees. She's living at his house. He is offering her $30,000 a month to do this, visit him every weekend and all this stuff. And and even though like she's reluctant, she still decides to stay with Suge because she she still I think she still has, even though she's seen this softer side of Suge, she's still I think she kind of knows in the back of her mind that he's still a violent man. I mean, he went to jail for fighting somebody. So anyway, at one point, Michel'le wanted to kind of be back, kind of went to jail, went to visit Suge early because she wanted to be back for her son's birthday. And then another woman was what and she came at the same day that another woman was there to visit him. And they kind of again and the girl kind of tells her that you're just a trophy wife, he that his plan was to take Dre's label and his woman. But then an officer like whisked her away. She was kind of mad. She was kind of mad. You disobeyed me. And then she said, you didn't ask me what days were okay. But of course he didn't ask you. All you're supposed to do is do whatever he says. So anyway, Suge proposes marriage. She's kind of reluctant to do so, but then friends that if she doesn't comply, then he's gonna do something to her son. So she reluctantly agrees. They're married. He gets out of jail. Death row is bankrupt, going down the toilet. He's kind of getting irritated. Michel'le tries to kind of help him out still. Offers that they release her album, which I think was which they called it Hang Time, but that was a single on the album. But I think the real album is called Hung Jury, which was eventually released in 1998, I believe, but it didn't get that much sales because of the fact that there wasn't a lot of promotion and Suge didn't really care about the album because he felt that most of the songs that she was writing was about Dr. Dre, so he didn't want to be bothered with the project. And during that, and the fact that these songs that were going to be featured on the album were about Dre, this is the first time we see Suge smack her out of the frame of television and dislocates her jaw. And she has to go to the hospital. Suge says, don't tell them anything. You got hit with a football. And I'm like, oh gosh. Well, anyway. So that happens. Her friend, her friend who was actually Arnold, the actress, was playing as Tashina Arnold. I didn't know that that was her friend. Friend was telling her to call the police and go and take him back to prison and say, if you stay with him, you're going to end up dead. But then she said no because Suge likes kids, which her saying that meant that she was pregnant. And she did give birth to a daughter named Bailey. She had she has a son with Dre. I don't think I mentioned it. She has a son with Dre named Marcel, and a daughter by Suge named Bailey. And so and so after that, Suge ends up in jail again, doing fuck stuff, his fuck fizzle. And then she discovers that Suge has been putting houses and cars in her name, but it's not trying to mess up her credit, I guess. But it doesn't really go through because they're not really married due to the fact that he has not divorced his first wife. So we get to the end of the Um, movie Michel'le confronts Suge, and I think this was like the most powerful scene was was a scene where she basically gained all her strength, a strength gain scene. She told off Suge threatened her with a gun. She wasn't scared, just spreading for his rights. And then that was the end. And then she sang a song at the end. And in the credits it said that Dr. Dre's attorneys that claimed that the apology that he made in 2015 following Straight Outta Compton was not referring to her, and he denies any of the things that Michel'le said that he had done to her. And so that's it. So that's it. That was the movie. And I just want to kind of I feel like the movie overall was good for Lifetime standards. I think that they could have made it a little bit longer because we got an hour and a half of Dre and their relationship, and then we only got 30 minutes with Shook. But yet, I kind of I kind of understand that because Suge was in jail for most of their courtship and stuff. But I think also that the movie was not really historically correct. Correct. And I think that that's kind of like a flaw that kind of challenges the credibility of the story. The first the first inconsistency was that was first her discovery, and she claimed in an interview that Alonzo himself did not seek her out. It was a person, I guess, who worked for Alonzo that sought her out, and he brought her to Alonzo, and that's how they got introduced, and got to sing the hook for "Turn Off the Lights." Alonzo claims that he has paid her, so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, sometimes you can take There are times when you can, I don't know. There's two sides to every story. His side, her side, and the truth. Honestly, when it comes to this story overall, I feel like I don't think that she would lie about these things. Why would anybody lie about getting beat up? That's horrible. And anyway, back to more inconsistencies. Another one. What was it? Just let me think. Okay, another one. Excuse me. Was the time, or wait, was the situation with Ice Cube? That's what I meant to say. Uh, I think Ice Cube had actually left the group after Straight Outta Compton came out, and I don't think that Michel'le's son was even born after Ice Cube left. So so when they when they put like he, so I'm looking at the credits saying 1991, and I thought that Ice Cube was long gone after this because I think in 1991 that's when their second album came out, right? So yeah. Okay. And then let's see. Where's another story? Inconsistency. Hmm. Another one would have to be that they may have left out. I mean, they got the point across that they wanted to get across, that Dr. Dre was a woman beater. But from the interviews that I saw of Michel'le, I feel like Dr. Dre may have beat on her more times than was shown in the movie. Because she says she got 5 black eyes, a broken rib, and a broken nose twice from him. So so I heard somebody say about final edits, about in fin that before final edits came out, there was a scene where he smashed her head through the windshield of a car, which is kind of crazy. I think if that scene was put in there, I'd be just done. I'd be just done and bawling. Like, how did you are just lucky that you survived. You are just lucky that you survived. But anyway, and then there's another inconsistency in which is how how Dr. Dre and Michel'le's relationship ended. Ugh. I think that the story is that after she got out of rehab, she actually entertained getting back together with Dre. And Dre, even though he was engaged, he briefly moved out his fiance slash current wife out for one point, and then moved Michel'le back into the house for a little bit, and then for 2 weeks, one night he didn't come home, and she decided to move back out, and then after that, um, Dr. Dre even asked asked if she could come and just be his mistress, and she said no. And then I guess it was done from there. And then Suge Knight comes around. So anyway, and then there was a scene that was kind of silly to me when Michel'le came back from rehab, and then I think Suge was talking about, and then Tupac appeared, and Suge was talking about Tupac changing up a song, and then he just turned away. I don't think that actually happened. I don't believe that Tupac would just let Suge talk to him like that. He would probably at least put up a fight, but I think that that probably didn't happen due to time. That due to time and trying to condense it to like two this movie to 2 hours. But anyway, so last inconsistency I have to say was the only time that the scene where Suge slapped Michel'le. Michel'le claims that this this slapping happened at 2 a.m. It is, from what we see, that this is the afternoon, and this is the afternoon, and the ambulance did not come to get her, but Suge had to take her to the hospital himself and help. So she wouldn't file a police report. He had to take her to the hospital, because if she called 911, when the if she called an ambulance, then 911 would also appear as well, and she would have to explain what happened. And that's where the story comes that she got hit with a football. So yeah, those are some inconsistencies. There also there's word on the street that Dr. Dre is friending was before this movie came out. Dr. Dre was friending to sue Sony Music, and heard that the if this movie came out and portrayed him in this light, which it did, in this light of a woman beater, which it thoroughly did. And so I don't know if he's going to go through with the lawsuit, but I don't think that it's worth it for him to go through with the lawsuit, honestly, because you did what you did, and there have been rumblings in those days. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't born. Ugh. I wasn't in the thought of my parents' head when these events occurred. But there have been rumors that I've heard from other people who came from that generation, that you have done these things. That you've done these things, and we all can't forget the D Barnes situation, which was made public, and you settled out of court with her for that, had to pay her off. And then another situation, I think, with another ruthless artist Terry B, I think, a white female rapper. So, and I don't know if you settled with her as well, or she took you to court as well, but that happened. And then also, Michel'le also claims that there are all these testimonies, and we see that he's beating her in the movie in front of people. So so there's witnesses to these attacks. Um, she also explained, which was another thing that was kind of left out, that the DOC claims that in an interview with Vlad TV she that he lived with Dre for about most of his life. So he and Michel'le claims that he had actually witnessed these beatings go on, probably at home and stuff. And so I don't know why that wasn't mentioned in the movie, but he could be probably one of the people that she probably will call on to verify these attacks. So, anyway, what else did I want to talk about this movie? Ugh. Well, another thing I want to talk about is about Michel'le's own portrayal of herself in the movie. Uh, from what I saw, it seemed like she was a weak-minded woman who kind of got it, whose grandmother and mother ingrained in her head that taking an abuse was okay, and so that's why she decided to take the abuse that she took, and she decided not to leave because she stayed a little. I honestly, she stayed a little bit too long for me, honestly. But then again, who am I to judge? But there are people commenting that she made herself look innocent. Uh, well, hmm, innocent. And there are some people who had like probably come who probably don't know Michel'le directly, but maybe met her once or twice, but maybe like encountered her once or twice and have said that Michel'le would actually probably fight women that Dr. Dre was with, that were hanging around Dr. Dre. Probably, I don't know, physically fight. We see at one point when she got off the MC Hammer tour, she was duking it out with a woman that Dre moved in temporarily. So there's probably more of that going on, in that in that she was kind of ratchet. But yet that does not give an excuse for her to get beat up. In the movie, she was kind of like she she's kind of a little sassy. Sassy, she would talk back to Dre, but still did not. In the one scene I remember they're having a death row party in the house, and then he says we need more chicken, and then she asks, and then she's like saying, do I look like Colonel Sanders to you? And then he punches her in the gut, and I'm like, sir, I'm just like, I just don't know how to feel. And then with the situation with with um her involvement with death row. I have seen that. I've seen Vlad TV interviews with the likes of Danny Boy, a former death row artist, and Daz Dillinger, and they don't really have anything nice to say about Michel'le. They basically called her a hoe. One of the reasons that, and they kind of blamed the dissolvement of death row on her, on her, because because she slept ar- because she slept around with all these men. Allegedly, she slept with Tupac, they claim, and that during Suge's imprisonment, she was messing with their money and was making it difficult to get to Suge. Which I don't know. I don't think that, from the looks of it, I don't think that that's kind of true. I mean, I think she, I think all she did was what Suge told her to do. Because honestly, Michel'le doesn't have a head for business. She said that the biggest check that she got from Jerry Heller was $8,000, and she was content with that. She was content with, I guess, she's content with the fact that she didn't get paid for the hooks and stuff. So just going on blind and all that. But anyway, what was I going to talk about? Anything else I didn't touch on? Hmm. Let's see. Yeah. Hmm. Ugh. Hmm. There's nothing else I can think of that I want to talk about. Overall, overall, I think it was a good movie. Better, better than than the Aaliyah movie, most definitely. I was kind of lightweight conflicted when I saw Dr. Dre being on her, cause or the actor playing Dr. Dre being on her, cause he was fine. To be honest, he was fine. But anyway, that's basically all I have for this. And hmm, and like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. If you liked it, you liked it, and if you didn't, you didn't. Oh well. And I hope everybody has a nice day or a nice night because it's nighttime. And just bye.